Welcome to Football Soccer, the podcast. I am Sam Palmer with my special guest, Sam Collins. Today, this is a bonus episode, so you listen to it on a Friday. We're coming live to you. Putting a bonus episode where we are answering your questions. We asked on this week on Instagram, send us your questions.
Okay.
This is what we got. Sam's joined us for our second episode.
Thank you very much for having me, everybody.
Tony is a distant memory.
Tony's sunning himself in Mexico right now. Hope he's got that factor 50 on Tony.
A ginger Liverpool man. Yeah. Ginger Scouser in Mexico. What can go wrong?
Exactly.
Next time we see him, he's just had about 1,000 skin grafts.
I was going to say, I'll come back a colour of one of those like super hot red chilies.
So let's get into it. We've asked, people have been sending in messages all week long. And there's a few ones in there that I think might cause a bit of controversy.
Okay.
So we're going to start easy. I've actually just put them down in the order I got them in. So who will win the league this year in the Premier League?
I would have to say Liverpool.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I don't think at this minute we're recording this, Liverpool are 8 points clear.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said Arsenal if you'd asked me at the beginning of the season.
Me too.
But I think Arsenal were going through quite a bad injury patch right now. I think getting Martin Odegaard back has probably been the best thing that's happened to them. He is.
I don't think we realised how influential he actually was for them because they were back this week and he was unbelievable.
Player of the season 2 years in a row for them. I mean, He is. Not only is he the consummate professional, who somebody like Marcus Rashford could take a leaf out of his book on.
Yeah.
He is, I mean, the way that Arsenal play, and trust me, I hate complimenting Arsenal more than anything in the world, but the way that he makes Arsenal tick is pretty special. I mean, he signed for Real as a 16-year-old.
Yeah. He had a lot of pressure on him as a kid, and he'd never done it at Real. Did he ever play in a Real first team?
They brought him on. It was one of those kind of like
marketing
gimmicks when he came on, I think, in a Champions League game for Cristiano Ronaldo, and they were dressing it up as like, oh, this is the changing of the guard here now.
Well, they were actually right. It just happened a bit later than they thought.
They bought him at 15 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So then I think he went on to maybe Herenveen or something like that, and then I think his breakout season was when he went to Real Sociedad.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he knocked Real Madrid out the cup.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that happened.
How much did Arsenal sign him for?
35. But do you remember he was there on loan?
Yeah.
Because the following season he was at Real, and I don't think he was starting as many games as he wanted to. So come January he said, I'm out. Went to Arsenal, and then Arsenal bought him the following summer, I think.
And now he's a captain.
35.
You wouldn't have thought would have been the captain material. It was kind of like an odd thing. Because I look at now, Declan Rice is there. For me, Declan Rice is the captain.
Gabriel, Thomas Partey. I mean, like they've got some influential players, Arsenal, that could step up and do that captain role. But I mean, he is. I've heard him speak a few times.
Yeah,
he is. Honestly, I am blown away by that guy.
Yeah, you don't see much of him off the field or anything, do you? You actually just see him on the field.
Never see anything.
I think only people have realised actually how influential he is. Now we've been missing these last few weeks, and actually he's come back. And they've done really well since he's been back.
I know, but listen, you can never write these teams off. Although Arsenal are the biggest bottle jobs in the history of the Premier League.
Yeah.
I mean, this was their season, and if Arsenal don't win it this season, I think they will be kicking themselves.
Because I think someone's going to win it this season. As I say, we both think Liverpool's going to win it. I think they're going to win this unchallenged.
I mean, they could.
Because now, effectively, with 8 points clear, they can lose to City home and away and Arsenal.
Yeah.
No, because are they 11 points clear?
No, they're 8 points clear. They could lose 2.
Yeah, they can lose 2.
They can
lose to City both home and away.
Yeah. Correct.
And then draw 1.
Correct. So they can do that. But I mean, listen, look, you never know with Liverpool, and Liverpool, traditionally speaking, over the years, they're
also bottle jobs as well.
Correct. They will go on a run of bad form, but if they've accumulated enough points prior to then, I think they should be okay.
Me too.
After this weekend, it'll be a big thing, Liverpool-Man City. If Liverpool beat Man City and they go 11 points clear and Arsenal don't pick up points this weekend, I wouldn't say it's done, but it will be very, very hard.
It'll all come down to if Liverpool get injuries, but I'm saying, right, we're moving on anyway.
Yes.
We're both saying Liverpool. Who is the best player to play in the Premier League, not at a top club? I think they call this a Barclayman. Like when it was a Barclaycard Premiership, people that like that
The best.
Not big names. I'm going to say mine,
Okay.
Dimitri Payet.
That's an interesting one.
So not a top club. And you can say, like, for example, I think he probably doesn't come into it because he does go across. Zola is an amazing one. But,
Yeah.
but they
It
were
was
more...
still a top 6
Yeah.
club at the time. I mean,
But guys, so who would be your one?
who would be my one? I mean, how far are we going back on
Go
this?
back as far as you want.
As far as we want. Let's keep it to the year 2000 so the listeners still know who we're talking about here. I think anything pre-2000. But so the last 24 years, I mean, I would probably say... I mean, it's a very good question, that.
Well, I'll tell you my reason why you think of it. So mine is Payet. I think at West Ham, I think we had obviously Di Canio's another one which could be in that like category for me. But I think what he did at West Ham was insane.
Yeah, he carried.
He was a Ballon d'Or nominee at West Ham.
Yeah, that's true.
The free kicks, the things he could do, we got him. I have to say, I was so upset when he left.
I bet you were.
But I think he was... I quite like that he actually only ever went back to Marseille. Yeah. And he never, ever went to the top club.
Did he do it again for Marseille? I mean, he was...
Yeah.
He's kind of...
I think he must be older now. Like, I don't know if he's even still playing now. He must be 36.
Yeah.
But he was incredible. For that time we had him, he was just an absolute joy, and he was absolutely smashing up the league. But that would be mine, not top club player. I think he kind of just, even though Di Canio, I think, was a better West Ham player.
Yeah.
Just that magic.
Di Canio was a class act.
Yeah.
Di Canio was an absolute.
So have you got an answer for us yet or not?
Do you know what? I mean, the best player to play for a non-top club. I'm trying to think of one of those like one-hit wonder strikers. I mean, like there's
JJ Okocha.
I mean, he was a good one. I mean, yeah, like you look at the Bolton players from back in the day. JJ Okocha was a good one. I mean, like that Michu had a blinder of a season for Swansea that year. Michu, he had a phenomenal. He scored like 20 odd goals one season, and then Benjani, and then we never heard from him again. I mean,
Yakubu, that's a good one.
Yakubu was a good one. He was at Portsmouth.
I've played football
Everton.
Against Yakubu. He's the strongest man you've ever.
Feed the yak and he will score.
He is the strongest man.
Yeah.
He's done something to me that no one's ever done. I went charging in to tackle him, and he put his middle finger out like that.
Yeah.
So, and like when you see it, and I thought, as I see it, I thought, oh, I've just broke your finger. I just thought, because I'm running as hard as you can. And as he hit me, it was like someone hit me with a metal rod, and I bounced off, and my mates were laughing, going, yeah, don't steam it on him. He turns you with his arse, right? And you flip. Okay. Like, I'm 6'4", and 200 odd pounds. It's like I'm a rag doll against him. He's so strong. It's unreal.
I've got my answer.
Right, finally.
This answer might be a bit controversial. Harry Kane.
No.
No, you're not calling.
I like what you did there. Yeah. I like what you did there.
Tottenham.
No, what I would have as an answer, Jurgen Klinsmann.
But same, yes.
No, because
same
Spurs
club, different era,
different
era. I mean, you could say someone like Vialli, David Ginola, Faustino Asprilla.
Yeah, there's so many. Sam's not even answering.
No, there's too many in my
Right,
books.
we're moving on.
Yeah.
Best ever Premier League kit.
Best ever kit.
What's your favourite? The best ever.
It's gonna be a Chelsea one for me. I would
really?
Yeah, I would say the 05-06 season, Chelsea centenary year, when we had the gold Samsung mobile top written over the blue.
That isn't even close.
I love that kit. I love that kit. I would wear that kit any day.
You're mad. That might be an alright Chelsea kit, but it's boring. It's just blue. Yeah. Like when all the kits you could have chosen. I'm going for Newcastle.
Okay.
95-96.
Yeah.
Adidas. Yeah. Newcastle Brown Owl. The Shearer signing shirt.
I do remember that. That was a good classic kit. That was a classic kit.
That is a classic. I think some of the Liverpool ones. I used to like that one where they had the Adidas with the three stripes up the up the chest.
You know what I would say? Some of the goalkeeper kits over the years have been pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the goalkeeper ones. I mean, like Schmeichel used to wear a blinder of a goalkeeper
Schmeichel.
shirt, like with his bright green one. Back
Yeah,
in
and
the
then
day,
that
and
white
the
one
red.
with the
Yeah.
gold and blue on it.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, Neville Southall used to always have a good one for Everton back in the day.
Yeah, there's been some good goalie kits actually.
there-
Shaka Hislop had a blinder. Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle goal. That sponsor was a great one. I think that's one.
Do you know what? Hang on a sec.
Well.
Are we classifying Newcastle as a big club
Well,
before the Saudis?
I suppose we grew up. Newcastle were challenging for the league. I would not
They
classify.
only were kind of that under Kevin Kidd. They weren't
couple of years.
For a couple of years, and then they went off. They've been relegated enough times. So
Once.
if we were,
Only relegated once, I think.
was it once?
Yeah,
Not-
under Shearer, and then Big Sam brought him back. I think.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh no, wasn't it? Was it Rafa Benitez that brought him back?
Oh
I think they might have been relegated. Have they been relegated
no,
once or twice?
It was only once.
Was it?
Yeah, they came up the same year as West Ham originally as well.
When Aston Villa got relegated.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these teams, they've come back and done big. Because I was going to say, if we're not going to call, like...
No, I don't think Newcastle's a big... Well, you could say Alan Shearer is the great... No, but what I mean... Yeah, I think the question was big player at a smaller club. Alan Shearer is the epitome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Shearer the god. Right.
Yeah.
There's our kits. I don't agree with Sam's shit. The greatest ever Premier League player.
Greatest ever Premier League player.
I know who I've got.
For me, though, there's three eras of Premier League. You've got the 90s.
No, we're not breaking it up.
No.
What is the best ever? No, not what is the best. I'm going to change this question.
Yeah.
Your best ever Premier League.
My favourite Premier
Because
League
that's
player.
different. Because most people say Henry or someone like that. That's not mine.
No. I wouldn't choose Henry as my favourite player. I mean, Henry was like, he used to ruin my weekend every
No,
weekend.
but what I mean, he was.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was-
that.
he
Most
was
people would say
unbelievable.
Henry, Cantona. You know, like that. There's the person. I'll change. Go on. You say yours. Have you got one? Come, we're going to push you on time.
Do you know what? I would probably say, growing up and watching somebody like Cantona made me fall in love with football.
Yeah.
Like, he was just such a character. He was such a maverick. He was everything that you almost dreamt of being as a footballer. Like, when I was a kid growing up in the park, like, I was...
Collar up.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, correct.
And Ruddock. Do you remember Ruddock
That's
turning
what
the
I'm
collar
saying.
down?
Yeah, I was literally just going to say, people would walk around with their collars up because of Cantona.
And he was as hard as nails.
Yeah,
He's a proper eccentric man.
Yeah.
But do you remember when he kung fu kicked in the? That's got to be one of the greatest ever Premier League moments.
Matthew Simmons, wasn't it? That is the guy's
But
name.
at Crystal Palace got sent off. Guy mouths off about him.
Calling him a French wanker or something like that, and this, that, and
And
the
he
other.
just went and done him in the crowd.
Literally.
And then probably the greatest ever
Do you remember he was
Premier
gonna
League
get-
moment
Yeah.
is that interview where he comes in to explain
The
himself.
seagulls and the trawler and all that nonsense.
The seagulls follow the trawler because the fishermen throw sardines to the sea.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's fucking brilliant, isn't it?
And
Like
just
that-
walks off.
How nonchalant.
Yeah.
Basically bollocks. I'm not saying nothing.
100%.
Cantona was the man.
Cantona, but then Zola, but then like, I mean, there's
There's too many to choose by. I suppose it changes day by day.
Yeah, it kind of does. But
I've got two. I think mine, two that I love, like I say, loved watching. Alan Shearer
Yeah.
is probably my all-time. I love Shearer. I still love Shearer now. I love watching him.
Great player.
But he all-time Premiership goal scorer.
Yeah.
And then Roy Keane is probably my other, who I both love
Yeah.
now.
As pundits.
I love them. I love
Yeah.
them
Did
both.
you see what happened to Roy Keane yesterday at Ipswich?
Yeah. Some bloke's mouthed off and Roy
Yeah.
Keane said, I'll see you out in the car park.
Basically, yeah.
Come out to the car
Come
park.
out to the car park. We'll continue
And
this
I,
conversation
it's funny,
there.
I can see it on that clip on Instagram,
Yeah.
on Redknapp's face in the background. And he's like basically looking at the man like saying, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
he's obviously screaming something bad at him.
It was because, Keane was the Ipswich manager.
Yes.
He had 2 years, I think he was there maybe 2009 to 11 or something like that. And it didn't go well for him at Ipswich.
No, it
So I
didn't,
think
no.
the fans, I think they still
It
hold...
was his last managerial post, wasn't it?
Possibly. Did
Because
he
he's been coached since, but he's...
Did he go? No. Did he go to Ireland? He was the
No,
assistant
he was
manager at
for
Ireland, wasn't
Martin
he?
O'Neill.
And Sunderland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that was So the fan was apparently mouthing off at him yesterday, shouting all this abuse, shouting about Alfingy Haaland and all that type of stuff to him.
An idiot.
Complete.
Well done to Roy.
Yeah.
Again, don't put up with nothing.
No.
But they're my two favourites, Shearer and Roy Keane. Do I think they're the best ever Premiership players? Probably not.
No.
No, because I think there's more talent, let's say, like
Yeah.
Henry, like players like that.
Kevin
that
De
have
Bruyne,
been- De Bruyne.
that type of stuff.
Fabregas, like
Yeah.
so many good ones. Lampard.
Gerrard.
There's so many, but I
Yeah.
think I'm going to whittle it down to that.
Ronaldo.
Yeah. Rooney.
Yeah.
Who should be the next match of the day host? So Gary Lineker has stepped down after 25 years or something.
25 years.
It's huge, isn't it? We staying on for a little bit. So
It's like a generation he's
Yeah.
been doing that for. A whole generation.
you probably a bit too young for Des Lynam, but
No, I remember Des Lynam.
But like he was then moved aside for Gary.
Yeah. Before that, I was too young for Jimmy Hill.
Wasn't he? Yeah, me too.
Jimmy Hilchin.
Was there only three? Has there only ever been three presenters?
Well, I'm not sure if Hill was the original presenter or not,
right.
but I remember Des Lynam, and then I remember, obviously, Lineker.
And Gary's done a good job with that.
Do you remember when do you remember when it went to ITV for a year and it was the Premiership?
Yeah, and they done it in that tactics truck with Andy
Yeah.
Townsend.
Yeah, and it was
like in a it was
ridiculous. And then
dog shit, wasn't it?
And the BBC got it back the next year.
They ruined it, didn't they?
Yeah. So for me, who would I like to see present it? If he hadn't been a busy boy on his phone, I would have loved to have seen Jermaine Jenas get it. But because he's out of the picture,
He's quite a good presenter, isn't he?
I don't mind Jermaine Jenas. I actually don't mind him. I didn't like him. I wasn't such a fan of his at first when he came out, but I think he did step it up. But unfortunately, he's out of the
There's
running.
difference from a presenter to a pundit as well. So there's.
But he did talk. He did talk a lot of sense.
No, I liked him. And I
Yeah.
think they probably were looking at him.
I would like, if I could have a choice, I would probably go for Mark Chapman. I think it's time for him.
He's the front runner, isn't he?
Well, I think it's time for him to step up from Match of the Day too. I mean, would I want to see somebody like Alex Scott on there? Not really, to be honest with you.
Neither do I.
She's kind of ruined.
There's about 6 women in the running for it. I think we're going to see a woman. I really do. I hope. And do you know, you sound like such a sexist pig, and maybe it is, but you end up being like Joey Barton, because he's obviously so against it. But I do hate it. These women pundits.
Who's the
the one I like as a presenter?
Kelly Logue. Is it Kelly?
Kelly
Logue?
Dalglish.
Kelly Dalglish. Kelly, is it Kelly
She's
Dalglish
Kelly
or
Keats,
Logan?
I think now. Is
Logan?
She? Or Logan.
Yeah.
But it's Kelly Dalglish's daughter, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think she's been brilliant for years on Sky Sports as a presenter.
She's been great.
I don't like these. It's funny, CBS, Kate Abdo. Is it Kate Abdo?
She's good.
See, I don't love watching her.
Do you know? I don't mind.
No,
Kate
I don't.
Abdo.
Do you know what it is? I think probably because I'm down a pub.
Yeah.
I'm with all men.
I get that.
And when I look at it, I like that feel of. I like Jill Scott. I like these people, but I don't want to see them present.
I'm not such a fan of Jill Scott. She just. No disrespect to Jill Scott, because she's probably better at football than I am, but it's the level of football that they rave on about compared to the level that they play is just such a distortion.
That's what I mean. I also don't want to see a League One player commentating on the Premier League.
No.
And it's exactly that. I don't want to see
a
League One player commentate on League One.
Yeah.
Women commentate on women's football.
But then,
I'm all for that. Give them their own match a day, but no one would watch it.
No.
And that's the problem. And I understand you need people to watch it to get it to there. And I get it, catch-22. You're asking me my personal opinion. I do not want to see it. I think you'll ruin match a day, and it becomes less. I think you get less bantery. I know this CBS we've got Kate Abdo, but that's become a bit of a it's kind of a bit silly, isn't it?
For me, if I was to get rid of one person on that panel, I would get rid of Jamie Carragher in a second. Jamie Carragher for me is the luckiest guy in sport to still be in a job.
Well, he knows football.
He does, but just it's the way he carries on like he's the not only does he carry on like he was the number one footballer ever to have existed, he carries on like he's the number one pundit on the planet. And for me, when he's there lecturing people on how to win Premier League titles, it's like how many did you win?
Wasn't it Mourinho that said that?
Yeah, it's literally how many did you win? 0.
This guy's talking on the TV.
And he's lecturing people about how to do it and how to step up and how to be.
It's funny, I don't love Carragher either on TV.
Well, it's ever since he spat in that girl's face, I was just like, do you remember that?
Yeah.
He spat in some girl's face.
I don't mind Carragher. I don't mind Carragher at all. I actually quite like him as a person. When I see him off thing, I don't like. He's very knowledgeable football. I actually used to love his podcast that we used to The Greatest Game, I think it was called. That I enjoyed, but I don't love him on TV. On the overlap, I prefer it when he's not on it.
I'm sure because he gets too carried away.
Yeah.
He gets too carried away. It's
And Gary does a bit as well, but I like... Gary's quite...
But he's methodical, Gary, and he's also
He's boring, he's that... In some ways, I'd like to see Gary Neville present match of the day.
Yeah, I would. I mean, that would be a good shout.
He's kind of a Lineker mould.
Yeah.
I'd quite like Shearer as well.
Shearer, I mean, they.
But then you lose Shearer as a pundit.
What I bet happens is I bet they do it on a rotation.
No, I don't think they will. I think the BBC. Remember, it's the BBC, and it's going to be a lot of box checking.
Correct. That's what I'm going to say. It's going to be the progressive BBC doing.
And if you were doing that,
thing,
then I'd quite like. And actually, no, not box checking. I'd rather them seeing not box checking and go for the best. I actually love Mika Richards as well because I think he's if you're going for that younger crowd, as well, he's there. He does loads of TV. I like Mika. He's not. I think his punditry is actually really good, but I love him on TV. I think he's brilliant, and I think he could actually give it a. If they want to go for a bit of a fresher look, I think Mika could give it that because he's a bit younger, he's a bit funnier. Or if they want to keep it in the same mould as Gary, then I think Neville, Mark Chapman, Shearer are kind of ways to go.
That'd be a good trio, and then switch out the occasion. I mean, because they sometimes get Joe Hart on it. They sometimes
no, I mean as the presenter, not the pundits. So just the presenter.
Yeah.
Just go one of those.
I agree.
Neville, I think would be a good.
I do think Mark Chapman deserves it. Though he's done match of the day too for so many years. It's time for him to step up.
And he's quite good at it.
And then give
But should it be an ex-footballer? But Des was never an ex-footballer. No. I think it's because we're used to it with Gary.
Yeah.
I do like the way Gary and Shearer. I'm going to miss Gary Lineker on it. It's funny. I don't love Gary Lineker personally.
Yeah.
But I do really like him as a presenter.
I was going to say,
he's inoffensive.
Taking Gary Lineker's political views and all that stuff out of the equation, do I like him as a presenter? I think he's been a great presenter for 25 years. I really do. He certainly he embodies the passion for the game. He understands the game. He's kind of got that arrogance about him that you kind of.
Well, he also was one of the best strikers ever.
That's what I'm saying. So like where you want to see it, and I do like the banter between him and Shearer. Like that,
he always gives him about the no golden boot or a World Cup.
Correct.
And, did you know I scored that trick at Real Madrid and Bernabeu?
They are great. He is great. So, but it'll be a shame to see him gone. Because
it was a shame to see Wrighty go. To be honest with you.
Yes.
I love Ian Wright.
But
I'd love Ian Wright to come and do it actually.
Yeah, but he's on the overlap the whole time.
That's what I mean. But he quit match a day. I think it was probably too much for him. He was doing stuff. But
I think it was every week. I think he just said he wanted his weekends back,
which is fair enough.
Which I understand.
Right, next one.
Yeah.
Who was better, Scholes or Gerrard? Lampard, Scholes or Gerrard?
For me, it's a no-brainer.
Chelsea fan here. Got the Chelsea out.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
I can answer Tony's answer already.
Yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer. I mean...
Right, so you're a manager, you can only take one.
I would choose Lampard all day long. I would choose Lampard for his
goal. It's the unanswerable question.
Yeah, Lampard for his goal scoring, Lampard for his commitment to the team, Lampard...
you could say Gerrard didn't have the commitment to the team. I think Gerrard had a bigger commitment to the team. He didn't leave Liverpool.
He didn't leave Liverpool, but at the same time, I mean, look at Frank Lampard, like, rolled up 10 minutes after his mum's passed away and puts a Champions
was an amazing
a Champions League semi-final winning penalty against Liverpool away.
I think Frank is
he was
underrated. Neither of him or Gerrard, but the goals.
But do you know what it was?
People forget though.
Yeah.
He wasn't just goals.
No,
he kind of's been lost as he's just goals.
The other thing I would say is in 2005, the 2005-2006 season, Frank Lampard was second in the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Behind Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Like, that's no joke.
No, not at all.
That was the year that Gerrard was also unbelievable as well. He was, I think, maybe 4th or 5th on the Ballon d'Or that year. Mm-hmm. So, for me, I mean, when you look at the Premier Leagues that Frank Lampard's won, you look at the Champions Leagues, like you look at his trophy haul, you look at his goal haul, he's Chelsea's highest ever goal scorer, and the geezer's a midfielder.
Yep.
And he didn't spend his whole career at Chelsea like Gerrard did at Liverpool.
No.
Scholes, I definitely think, didn't... Although Scholes was an incredible player...
I'm going to answer mine. Yeah. Mine's going to be Scholes.
Well, Scholes was an incredible player. He could... I remember hearing stories about Paul Scholes where he could hit a ball 150 yards from his foot onto a golf tee.
To a horse nibble.
Yeah, literally. I was going to say to a golf tee, but to a horse nibble, we can always say that one. But I mean, he definitely did have. I don't think his attitude was as up there with the Gerrards and the Lampards.
Paul, I don't know.
Well, you hear him coming out in the stories about when he's not playing in games, he's having a strop with Ferguson, and he'll openly admit that in some of the interviews.
Yeah, but Lampard, Gerrard, they never got dropped.
No.
Right, so
No.
and obviously Scholes, I think is the reason why I'd say Scholes is you're saying trophies. He's got more than anyone.
Yeah.
And remember when he retired and then came back?
Yeah, and scored the winner against City, didn't
Retired and come back, like he just
Yeah.
like he was out for a while and then I've had enough and come back.
Got
The
bored of being
reason why
retired.
I'd say Scholes is the way other people, the other top professionals all say he was the best player.
Iniesta and Xavi love him, don't they?
Zidane.
Yeah.
Marcello Lippi and people, Maldini, like these people have all said Paul Scholes was the best, greatest player. I think, unfortunately, with Scholes, he didn't have as big a off-field presence as Lampard and Gerrard, especially Gerrard.
Well, it's because of the team, because it was the amount of other big names around Scholes at the time. I mean, Lampard was
Beckham,
like
Ronaldo and Rooney.
Yeah, correct. Tevez and Berbatov and Ferdinand and Vidic.
Didn't stop Roy Keane.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, there's so many.
Smashed it.
But I think it's one of those things. I think if you support a club, Chelsea fans are always going to probably say Lampard. Liverpool fans are always going to say Gerrard. United probably say Scholes.
Yeah.
I think, though, they're all as good as each other in just different attributes. They were all very... They were probably the three greatest ever English midfielders.
They certainly were.
Along with Brian Robson.
One thing that I will say that they were all level playing field at, they were all shit for England.
Yeah, none of them really... Like, they've done okay for England, but none of them, but then when in England, ever done anything.
Correct.
Greatest ever football boot?
The Predator.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
No question. The Beckham Predators, when they came out in like 03, 02,
The Manias.
I forget what
they were called. Do you know what one I love? The Accelerator, the 98, with the thick stripe on the side. And
is that Adidas though?
Yeah, they're all Predators are Adidas.
Well,
do you know I had the first ever one?
Did you?
The first ever. They were called Rapiers, I think.
Is that the one that had like the little plastic, like the
and
raised
done
plastic?
The Rapier too, and the first one they had a tongue that stood up.
Yeah, and you used to fold it over, didn't you?
The second ones.
Yeah.
The first one, the tongue didn't fold it.
I'll tell you what, and that's just actually, I just had a flash.
Craig Johnson, wasn't it?
Another
the guy from who created
Scotland,
Predator?
Wasn't it?
Craig Johnson, I think his name is.
Really?
I think he's Aussie.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's
good on
weirdly,
him.
he's and I think he played for Liverpool. He created Predator.
Did he? That's very didn't know that. The other one I loved was the Ronaldo R9 boot. Do you remember that? The old blue.
Silver and blue.
It was silver with wasn't it like the gold tick on it?
Silver with blue flash for it was his 98 boot. Was that one.
I remember
and
that.
I think one of my still favourite boots is Copa Mondial.
Yes.
Proper players wore Copa.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I've just said that,
but
that's the boot I'd wear, right? But it was like, if you saw someone rock up with Copas...
Didn't Maradona used to wear those?
They were old school, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because they've never changed. Like the Beckenbauer. I love that.
Van Basten.
It's the most comfortable boot ever.
Really?
The most. I've worn them for years now, but I used to wear Predators a bit. Nike Tiempo was a good boot.
Yes.
Tiempo. And then you had them, then it become more the coloured... I hate coloured boots.
So do I. They're not for me.
It's funny, no one does a black boot anymore. Only Copa still make the Copa in black.
Really?
But
that's very interesting.
Kids don't wear black boots. No kid wears black boots.
They're all in coloured boots now. Yeah. Wow.
It's funny, my boy wears all different colours and I hate it. It's like, when I was young, if you wore white boots and you were shit, you were a laughing stock.
Oh yeah, of course you were.
Like,
do you remember when the White Predators came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you could only buy them if you were so skillful. You were basically the best kid in the area and you could wear white boots.
Now it's like...
People were like... I remember I was the first one out of my mates that got a blue pair of boots. I went to Italy and I got these what are they called? The ones that kind of Panaforas, something like that. That's what they are. They're an Italian boot. They're like really, really soft, and I had them in blue. Di Canio used to wear them. And
is it not Diodora?
No. They were called like Panafor. They were only in Italy. They never came out in England.
Okay.
And then Joma done a pair as well that we used to be blue.
Oh my god, I remember Joma.
Do you remember that? They were the other ones that were coloured boots. And I remember my mate going, "You're a right back, and you got a blue pair of boots." And I was like, "Yeah," but like, but I always thought they were cool. But
that's hilarious to like you wanker turning up in the blue pair of boots.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Right, next one. Would you keep VAR or scrap it?
Scrap it.
Me too.
Yeah, get rid of it.
I hate it. I think it's killed football.
Delayed the game. Goal line technology.
Yes,
love it.
The offside technology that worked in the World Cup. For me, it was quick.
Yeah, for me, the thing with VAR is do you know what it is? It's not the system, it's the people running it.
Without a doubt. And I think it's also then the referees
They're just too nervous. But then also, like, you just look at
don't
someone
make
like...
a decision.
No, but then you just look at someone like David Coote as well and what's happened with him. I mean, just like...
Well, that's on there. We'll go to it. Should David Coote referee again after his comments?
No, never. Get
You
him
don't
out.
think so?
Get him out.
You think he should lose his job? That's harsh.
Get him out. I mean, well, he's...
Happened years ago. He didn't actually criticise Liverpool. He criticised Klopp.
He did, but then at the same time, I mean, it's just like
Can
he's...
he be taken seriously?
No, you can't.
again?
I mean, he'll be getting abused. Like, can you imagine the songs about him at all the football games? Like, just about all the drugs and everything like that. It's like the guy will be getting terrorised. Like, he'll be getting. There'll be songs about him on the terraces. He's not going to be concentrating on the game.
No, but I think it does die off after a while.
I mean,
After a couple of weekends,
it
it
probably
goes.
does. But just again, like, you're in that role of you know what I mean? It's like the old Spider-Man saying, "Great power becomes great
chucked him out.
responsibility."
I'd say give him another go.
Yeah, he's gone for me. Get him out.
Greatest ever football chant. The best football chant. Your favourite football chant.
My favourite football chant. I mean,
It's going to be a Chelsea one.
There's a couple of great Chelsea ones from over the years, but do you know what? There's one football song that I used to love hearing, and it was actually when I used to go to Anfield.
Never Walk Alone.
Not only Never Walk Alone, I used to for some reason I used to love the Fernando Torres song that they used to sing about him. The one
How'd
about
they go, Torres?
about where they bought the boy from sunny Spain.
Torres
Gets the ball and scores again.
Yeah.
And someone like Fernando Torres, and
Liverpool's number 9.
because Fernando Torres was always the scourge of Chelsea. That was one of the reasons why they bought him, because he always used to score against us. And I remember going up to Anfield, and this is when I used to do a lot of the away days with like the Mellors and all those boys back in the day in London. And when Torres used to put either his first or his second past us, it almost felt like the whole of Liverpool was singing that song.
You Never Walk Alone's...
Yeah.
You know when you hear it.
That's an anthem, though, I would say. Rather
Yeah, it's
than
not like a football song, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, that's an anthem for Liverpool. I mean, like, you're talking...
When you hear it, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like...
'Cause it kind of, for me, always represents Hillsborough victims as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't, but because we heard it.
It's almost like how Never Walk Alone is for Liverpool is like how like Swing Low Sweet Chariot is for the England rugby team.
Yeah.
It's kind of like their national anthem almost.
It's like Unfor Blind Bubbles of West Ham.
Yeah, correct.
It's not actually a football song.
No,
it was a song.
No.
But yeah, one of my favourite exchanges was West Ham and Arsenal.
Yeah.
Where Arsenal were cocking it all up. And West Ham were singing, "You're going to win fuck all."
Yeah.
They responded, "You've never won fuck all." West Ham responded, "We won the fucking World Cup."
Yeah.
And then Arsenal respond, "So did we." So because they won it so West Ham won it in 1966
Yeah.
with Moore, Hurst and Peters. Arsenal won it in 98 with
France.
Vieira, Petit,
Yeah,
Henry.
yeah, they
so
did.
it was, and do you know, it was a great exchange of like things. But there's been some funny ones over the time. One that sticks out in my mind at West Ham was Karol Pobolski taking a corner. Okay. And the West Ham started singing Carol, fucking girl's name. And I thought it was so fun. Like some of them. But I suppose
I've got a good one. I've got a very good one. When the Chelsea fans used to sing to Mesut Ozil, "Your eyes are offside." Your eyes are offside. Your eyes are offside. That was always a good one. But then also for me, another one of my favourites will always be we're the only team in London with 2 European caps.
Yeah,
that will always be a favourite. I mean, because when you start singing that to any team in London or any team that's not won the Champions League, it shuts their fans up in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and West Ham is massive was a huge one, obviously.
Yeah.
West Ham are massive.
Yeah.
And then other teams all nick that off us.
Yes, they are.
Well, a lot of teams nick off West Ham, actually, because the Dimitri Payet one was ours as well. And they then sung it for Mikel Arteta. We got Super Mikel Arteta.
Oh, yes, they did.
That was West Ham.
And then Chelsea did that about Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
We got Super Tommy Tuchel.
The original is We Got Dimitri Payet.
Thiago at the back. Someone else. He knows exactly what we need.
Yeah, it's an original West Ham song.
Yeah.
And the West Ham is Massive one was...
I like that song.
West Ham are massive.
Everywhere you go. Yeah.
That was like a European theme.
Uh-huh.
And actually bringing that in, the Super David Moyes, "We got Super David Moyes." I love that song. And that was good for a couple of years, and then it never got sung anymore. Because West Ham fans, if they hate the manager, they retire his song.
Really?
So Moyes was the first one that brought it back since Harry Redknapp of David Moyes Clanbrooke Army. So West Ham for years sung "We are West Ham's Clanbrooke Army" because they don't support the manager.
Interesting.
It's like that's like we don't support you. You're not one of us.
Very interesting.
So there's our chance, and we're going to finish this up on. This is interesting. It was sent by an Italian fan of ours.
Okay.
Who is your favourite Serie A club?
Inter Milan.
Is it?
Always loved Inter Milan ever since I was a kid. I would say primarily because they had the original R9 back in the day. For both of us, growing up in the 90s, the Premier League wasn't the number one league in Europe. It was the Italian league.
No, Gazzetta Football.
Correct.
Remember that? On a Sunday.
With James, what was his name?
I can't remember.
The ball guy.
And he sit on the
always
little
sat there
table
with his
the
newspaper.
and the espresso.
Correct.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah. And what was the paper like? Tutto del Sporto or something?
Something like that. It was like all Italian newspapers
Yeah.
on the thing. But
Yeah.
he was very good, that guy, wasn't he?
I'm going to look him up after.
Yeah.
His name was James. He used to love that show. So Inter Milan, I would say closely followed by Juventus. Because again, just the players they had back in the day, the Del Pieros, the Conte.
Juve's mine.
David, Zidane, Nedved, Buffons, like Chirams, and I mean, like, but even when you look at someone like Inter Milan, when they had Vieri, they had Zamorano, Recoba, Toldo,
Robbie King.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well he didn't do.
Peruzzi.
Yeah,
Vigoli.
Yeah, they had Walter Samuel.
Cannavaro.
Yeah, Cannavaro was a little bit later, I think, for Inter, but like in the height of like when we were growing up.
Seedorf.
Seedorf, yeah, another one.
He played for. Did he play for? He didn't play for you. He played for AC and.
He played for AC, Inter, Real Madrid, and Ajax.
Yeah,
if I remember
not
right.
Bad.
No, not a bad one.
A few little clubs.
I think he was the first guy to win 3 Champions Leagues with 3 different clubs.
I've always had a very soft spot for AC Milan as well.
Yeah.
Just because I think when we grew up, AC Milan were the team.
Yeah.
Like from like before us, the Van Basten,
the late
which
80s,
is a bit before
my
my time of football.
The late 80s, they were incredible.
We kind of grew up with that was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
They were basically, that team was our Barcelona.
Yeah.
That was the one before it, wasn't it? That was
because they had Baresi, Maldini, Ancelotti.
What a team.
Van Basten, Gullit. Yeah, they were and what's his name? Frank Rijkaard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they
Koeman.
had. Yeah.
No, sorry.
He was Barcelona.
No, sorry. I got that wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, Koeman was Barcelona, but they had. I mean, they were no joke when they had Gullit, Rijkaard, and Van Basten in their team. Whoa.
I think mine a bit. I could say Juventus. I'm actually now watching the Italian league again. Because my mate Cesc is at Como, and I am looking out for their results every week.
How are they doing right now?
They're doing all right. I think they're...
Because they got promoted, didn't they?
They got promoted probably above where they should have been. They probably went a little bit quicker than they should. Like, he took over and he got them straight up.
Yeah.
They drew at the weekend 1-0, but I think they're on about 10 points, if I remember.
That's all right.
They're 17th. They're on 10 points. So they're just above the bottom 3.
Yeah.
They've dropped over the last couple of weeks, but it's an impossible task to keep these up. If he keeps these up,
he smashed it.
Oh yeah, they've not got. As I say, they come up probably a year too soon.
Well, I saw they signed Rafael Varane. He retired after 5 minutes, didn't they?
And I think they're lacking a bit of a striker and wide players.
Yeah, you need
but he's doing a good job there. They should be bottom of the league, really, because they've got no one there.
But he's been a good manager, Fabregas.
Yeah, I'd love him at West Ham. I'd love him.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'd be good.
But look, bear in mind, he's 3 points off the 12th. So they're not, and he was up in about 14th.
And it's their first season that they've been promoted as well. It's like you're always gonna need time to build.
And I think they've only ever been in Serie A once before.
Have they?
They drew at the weekend. They drew with Genoa 1-0. So they're picking up points. I hope they stay up. But I've always got a little eye on them. But I quite like Atalanta as well because Scamacca plays for them.
Yeah, they're good.
At West Ham.
They're good. Do you know who I else used to like back in the day was Fiorentina when they had Batistuta?
Oh, that kit. Talk about one of the best kits. Nintendo.
That purple kit with the Nintendo on it. Yeah,
that was a proper kit.
That was a blinder of a kit.
Juve had some great kits. So
yeah.
They had one years ago that had a mesh down the side. And it was like it was see-through there, and it just had a black mesh down the side. It was unbelievable. That must have been like
they do make some good kits. One like the Lightning one with the Jeep on it was good that Ronaldo had.
Yeah.
And Pogba, that was a good one.
AC Milan's classic
Palmer used to make some.
Well.
Yeah, AC Milan. I've actually got the AC Milan centenary shirt from 1999 still.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and I mean, because obviously Serie A was massive. I used to collect Serie A shirts.
Me too.
I think I've got an old Parma shirt somewhere with Parmalat written across
I've got
the
an
front
Inter
of it.
one with Ronaldo on the back.
Yeah, I had that one as well. I've got an old Barcelona shirt with Rivaldo on the back.
Yeah.
He was another one of my favourite footballers growing up. He was someone I would have loved to have seen in the Premiership. But
Yeah, Rivaldo. And R9
yeah,
would have been amazing.
a fit R9.
Yeah.
not the Pagged R9 that we got.
The
used.
AC Milan.
Yeah, and he got done, unfortunately.
Well, we are going to wrap it up there.
It's been a pleasure,
I
everybody.
want to thank you for your time. Thank you for all the questions that are coming as well.
Yeah.
We're going to try and do this every Friday. We're going to keep trying to. Everyone keeps asking for more episodes, so thank you so much. Thanks for keep watching. Remember to subscribe. And I've actually forgotten that we were supposed to give away a Gerrard Bowen shirt this week as well. I'm going to keep it going. I'm giving you this. I've only remembered it on the Friday episode as well, but I'm going to keep going. I'll put something on Instagram to remind everyone. Subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Football or Soccer Pod. And send us any questions you got. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, guys. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully see you guys soon.
Bye.